And when I create an episode, I am working on connecting mothers to mothers who have been there before, who have seen the struggle, who have done that before, who are in that situation. Hey everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Entering Motherhood, a podcast dedicated specifically to new moms going through this amazing journey in life. I'm your host, Sarah Bilger, a postpartum nutritional coach / mechanical engineer. And as always, I'm so excited to be here with you and share all of the information I've been lucky enough to obtain since becoming a mom. In this episode, we recap the past 100 episodes of the Entering Motherhood podcast. Before this episode begins, I just want to say thank you so much for listening, and I also want to talk about an event we currently have going on right now. This event is for mamas who are either currently trying to conceive, are pregnant, or are in the early postpartum stage and may have some trauma in their life that they're looking to release. We go through 30 ways in 30 days of how to heal your trauma. You'll get a workbook and you'll listen to the daily mini episodes of the podcast that correspond to this a unique experience. I hope that you know that you are not alone in this and that you deserve this time to heal. If you want more information on this, please go to the Entering Motherhood website or feel free to reach out to me with any questions. And with that, let's get this episode started. So here we are, 100 episodes in. I truly had all the intention of making this the most epic episode yet, but I've been in such a state of procrastination and just stuck with what I want to say, but at the same time, I think I could go on for hours about how unimaginable this journey has been. I realized the main reason I was in a state of procrastination was because I just wanted it all to be perfect. As much as I want to get away from that feeling of perfection, because I know what amazing outcomes can come from just trying to give ourselves permission to fail, I fall back to it so often. See, even though this is episode 100, 58 of those episodes have been interviews, and 30 of them were part of a mini-series. So that means I have technically only done 12 solo episodes. I do not have as much experience at doing solo episodes. And I was nervous to record this one because I wanted it to be a monumental episode. But the day has come and here we are. And I'm diving deep into how I'm feeling about releasing 100 episodes, where we're at now, and what's next to come for the Entering Motherhood podcast. Some of my favorite episodes that I really enjoyed creating were my first few episodes because they bring me back to the initial giddiness and excitement that I had with starting the podcast. And if you're just joining now, and have not listened to some of the early episodes, I'm talking like episodes 1 to 10, I highly suggest going back and giving them a listen because that's where it all started. And one specifically is with my friend Leah, and that's episode 9. And our friendship has obviously grown deeper since then, and we both now have 2 new babies since then, but I genuinely always enjoy our conversations together. And it was just such an authentic and carefree conversation that we had that day. So that one is definitely one that I like looking back on and listening. And as far as the furthest away distance-wise for me that I did an episode with was from episode 15, and that was with Hannah, and she's actually from Australia. And her and I had connected through Instagram, and I was reading a blog of hers about her cesarean and motherhood, and I just knew that I wanted to highlight her story and connect more with her and really just record something that was true to me and something that I knew I aligned with and wanted to really talk about. And the timelines I think were like 12 hours off or maybe, but we made it work, and that was something that was really exciting for the podcast. And then obviously, the Heal Your Trauma Mama was something I felt and still feel really passionate about. And that was a healing experience for me to really break down what I was feeling and what was meaningful and important along my journey of healing from trauma. Not only, associate it with birth, but also going back to a lot of childhood and past trauma that was really preventing me from being the mother that I wanted to be. And even more than that, the person that I wanted to be. And I've recently been going back and listening to it again this time around when I'm running the series. It even helps now just re-going through it and processing that experience again. And I think we constantly need reminders on ways to help center us and learn that, we've been through a lot of things that may cause triggers and may cause a lot of things to come up for us. But when we bring our awareness to them and we question why we're feeling a certain way about certain things, it can be a really super healing experience and so rewarding. So if you haven't checked out those 30 mini episodes, I highly suggest going back and giving those a listen and letting me know what you think about those. There have also been episodes really early on that I had technical issues with that will never be able to be heard, but I'm working on finding time to touch back with those people and get an official episode recorded because when you're starting out, there's a lot of things that you don't think about, and there's technical issues and learning curves all with dealing with podcasting, and that's something that I had to go through and experience. Like I said, it's been a learning curve for sure, doing the edits for each episode and navigating how to publish them and record them and even create a website, but it's been an amazing progression of, keeping me interested and learning new things. And I think that's really important for us to remember to do as we get older, that we can learn new things and that we should be learning new things to keep our brain staying active and challenging ourselves. And I enjoy a challenge and learning technical programs. And I guess that's the engineer in me, but it's something that I'm motivated to do and I'm passionate about keeping up with. But seriously, there truly has been so many amazing episodes through all of this. And I am so thankful not only for finding individuals that felt ready and open to sharing their journeys, but knowing that there are so many resources out there that are striving to help motherhood feel less lonely and easier to navigate. There are so many coaches and doulas that are specifically focused on certain topics. There are therapists and consultants, other podcast hosts, authors, and the list just goes on and on. And it's continuously growing, which is really awesome to see. And I have actually created a resources page right on the Entering Motherhood website that breaks down so many individuals that are right there, ready to help mamas along their journey. And I'll link that in the show notes. but these are all people that are past guests on the podcast. And you got to go check that out because I love just compiling this all and having a space right there for you to really sort through and find those amazing episodes and find those amazing people that are going to connect you to things that you might not have heard of before and opportunities that are really going to be great in helping you along in your motherhood journey. And another amazing evolution that came from these first 100 episodes was, of course, the annual spring festival that we had back in May. And I truly am just so overwhelmed with the collaboration from this event and the potential it has for the future. And just, year after year, I can see it improving and expanding and just bringing together more people that are either ready to serve moms or have moms that are in this period of life that are ready to learn more about themselves and educate themselves on how they can really navigate the postpartum period and heal and truly feel more aligned with the type of motherhood that they want to have and the vision that they have moving forward in motherhood, and really just bring together all sides of that and come together to celebrate everything that motherhood has to offer and really just feel less alone and just have that space to hold and hear each other and share stories. So it really had me thinking, what type of audience is this? And who's listening to these episodes? And who are the people that we're trying to serve here with the Entering Motherhood podcast? And that's you, the ones that are listening to this and the ones that I'm connecting with, the community that we're slowly creating, and the moms that are coming together. And the festival is the place to highlight that and really embrace it. I think overall, the festival showed me first and foremost that I need to slow down sometimes, and I really need to focus on the individual connections that I've already created and circle back around to why I'm doing this. It caused me to think back to why I was creating the podcast in the first place. And I just recently was supposed to meet up with some friends, and I was getting ready and showering and then feeding Isaac, and he fell asleep on me. And all I wanted to do in that moment was just close my eyes and lay there and sleep and rest. And I just wanted to relax and embrace him. And so I decided not to go. I struggled because I felt like if I didn't go, I'd be missing out. And I felt like I really needed to push myself and force myself to go out and do these things, because if not, I'd be lazy and just be sitting around and doing nothing. I felt like if I went, it would prove that I'm doing things and making moves and going places. But in actuality, I was pulling myself away from the little moments and the real connections that I truly want to build. And while there is something special that happens when we are pushing ourselves and trying new things, we need to remember to have patience and understand that we will never miss an opportunity that is meant for us, and all things will work out in a way that it's meant to. No matter what, there will always be a chance for the right moment to show up and present itself to us again. And what I'm really trying to get at here is that I get it. It's hard to leave the house sometimes. I get that life with littles is super unpredictable, and we just feel like we can't escape them sometimes. It feels like we're glued to them, and we struggle with wanting to do things for ourselves and go out and do maybe the things that we used to do before kids, and also feeling like we're the only ones that can care for them in a way that they need to be cared for. But we need to ask ourselves, who's there for us and who's there helping us when maybe they won't take the bottle and all they want is breast milk, and who's there for us when they're crying and we need to come care for them. And it can seriously feel so lonely and isolating in those first few years. And while there was absolutely so many beautiful moments that came from the Spring Festival this year, and there is something so unique about pushing yourself and trying those new things, there is also an important part of resting and just being in that moment and see what is being presented to you at that time and not worry about anything else or other opinions or what the future will have or what's happened in the past, and really truly just embracing the present moment and what is there for you at that time. And, we had guest speakers who shared their heart, like Kason from Her Pursuit podcast, and Riley from the Ash and Ivy show, and Toya, the owner of Wellness Om on the Go. And we had a guided meditation from Jamie and a demonstration about how we can maintain our strength in the postpartum period from Ashley, who is the owner of Strengthen Her Fitness. And there were so many vendors and just some really amazing people that were all gathered there and connecting with each other and building community. And I could see it. I could see these connections being made and these friendships being formed and everything that was really going on and interlocking with itself. And I got to meet people that I've been connecting with online in person for the first time, like Casey from For God So Loved the Mom podcast. And, you know, really just being able to see them in person was something that was really needed. And to be able to physically have conversations with people and not just, through this microphone or through a message online, to really look them in the eye and speak with them and share stories and share feelings was something that I think was so needed, and I want to continue to bring to the events in the future. And if you want, the event page is still available on the Entering Motherhood website, and I'll link that in the show notes for you to be able to look back on and see who was all there supporting the first ever spring festival for this podcast. I believe we are taking the time to really create something that aligns with you organically. Even though we live in a culture that is so on the go, I want this to be a we are here together, let's share our hearts, and truly form support in an environment that you can feel seen and heard in and have that in-person connection. And I want you to know that we're definitely having another one because there is such a need for this, but we're building it stronger and just putting so much more into it and having purpose behind it. And I want you to help with this. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you want and what you envision for a community of mamas coming together and really opening up and supporting each other. And help form this event to be what I know it can become, and really just create that completely judge free environment that is set up to celebrate and embrace motherhood in all of its true divine glory. We had mamas breastfeeding over in the grass or under the tree. We had this activity planned out to write down your mom confession and really just share something that maybe you haven't told anybody before, or something that you wish you had the courage to say out loud, but you want to write it down. Or maybe it is something that you've expressed to others that you know that in telling them, they've felt that feeling of belonging and like they're not the only one that is having those feelings. Because we get it, right? We get what it's like when we didn't have time to shower, and we get what it's like when our toddlers are throwing a tantrum or when they're sick. We get what it's like to feel overwhelmed and drained and like we just can't give anymore sometimes. And we get what it's like to feel like we're not seen or heard. And I want you to know that this is what we're building. We are forming a community to better understand ourselves and better understand each other and learn ways to communicate with one another so that we feel more open and connected. And I know sometimes we can get caught up in this comparison game of we have to do more, we have to show that we're okay, and we have to keep on going and pushing through. But seriously, it's okay to say no sometimes. It's okay to realize that it's not the right thing for us or the right time for us. And it's okay to wait, because there is no better or worse. And I don't regret anything about the festival. I know that it has the potential to grow into something even more beautiful. And I think knowing that there's no time frame involved, and knowing that we still have so many more opportunities for things to happen and evolve is just really exciting. And I'm also realizing certain things that I'm afraid of, or things that I don't think I'm worthy enough of, are really starting to show up for me and make me realize that I am worthy of them. It's becoming known to me that I want to have more faith in specific aspects of my life, and I want to have a closer relationship with God, and I want to feel safe to discover what that path may look like. The people that are coming into my life are showing me His grace and showing me what it's like to have a stronger relationship with Him and what that can really look like. And I think the more I fall deeper into that path, the more aligned I feel and the more truth I'm able to see. And I've always had a connection to faith myself in my own ways, but I'm continuing to question what that looks like and look into any struggles that I have with that. And I want that relationship to build and expand into something. And I'm making that a priority since it means so much to me. And I'm really just seeing where that journey leads me. And I'm sharing these stories with you. I'm sharing my heart with you because I hope it shows you the other side of things that some people don't share. And to be completely honest with you, the night of the festival was truly one of the worst nights we had as a family. And Rosie had skipped her nap that day. And all day she was having, so much fun and just running around and playing and enjoying herself. And we allowed her to do so, which was great, but she did not want to nap. And with that came frustration and exhaustion. And she was just so burned out by the end of the day. And when we came home and she needed to take a bath because she was also extremely dirty from running around and playing, she refused and she screamed and she yelled and she got red in the face, like really, really red in the face. Like she was not anything like I had seen her act before. And she threw one of her stuffed animals at me. And I cried because I had a long, really emotional day too. And so much had happened and occurred and was going on. And I cried so hard because I felt like, maybe I had ignored her and I didn't pay attention to her the way that I normally do. And I wasn't there for her. And I was trying to create this environment that was fitting to moms and really just cultivating that experience and putting it all into them and creating something that we could have in this phase of life that we're in, when we're breastfeeding and dealing with nap schedules and crazy toddler emotions or newborn little babies and everything else that comes with that and everything in between. And it's hard. It's really, really hard sometimes. And it can be difficult. And I know that it can feel isolating. And, we get overwhelmed by other people around us and we think, like, oh my gosh, like, are they looking at my child who's covered in dirt and judging me for that? Or, maybe we're parenting in different ways and we feel like we're being judged. And I know that this community is so important, but I just haven't quite figured out how to best serve it. And I'm here and I'm showing up and I'm providing space. And this is just so important to me and my heart. And it's something that I really want to continue to create. And I know that I'll be qualified for this purpose. And it really just takes time. And that's what I just keep continuing to hear. If we, keep pushing and keep going for our dreams, then they might take time, but it is possible. And we just have to be persistent and keep going even if we feel defeated sometimes or that it's too hard or that we're not doing it right. And it certainly is something that does not need to be rushed and it will come. Know that I'm here for you, mamas. Know that I'm rooting for you. And know that we don't need to have all the answers. We don't need to be perfect. We just need to be honest and hold space for each other and be ready to listen and share all of our feelings and emotions that are coming to us. And if you see a mom that is doing so much and you are just amazed and in awe of all the things that she's doing, remember to support her and be there for her, but also check in with her and ask if she's doing okay and if you can help in any way. I mean, I put together a whole freaking festival at 4 months postpartum. I was super ambitious in doing that, and I'm so happy that I did and so thankful for how it turned out. But it was a lot of work, and I was pregnant and planning it and knew what was going to come, but it's just so much. And remembering that and really honoring that is a huge accomplishment. And I know it will only continue to grow and expand and build up from here. And if you're listening to this right now, know that I am so thankful for your support and having you here to see how this podcast has grown over these past 100 episodes. And I'm continuing on this journey and I'm not giving up. And if you have been listening since the beginning or just recently joining in, riding this out with me, know that we can do these hard things and know that we need to continue to be resilient. And I hope I can be an example of what's possible if we do push ourselves and if we do keep chasing our dreams, because this is something that I'm very, very passionate about. And I know that I can serve moms and be there for them. And we can create a community that's inviting and welcoming and serving moms in the way that they need to be served. So let me know what you need and what you're struggling with, what you need help with, and what topics you'd like to hear about. Let me know what you're curious about or what questions you want answered about motherhood. I know sometimes we can feel like we're not enough or we're not doing enough. And maybe we struggle with thinking the work that we're doing is not as productive as it could be because we're thinking about our kids all the time when we're at work or doing our work. And then the hours that we're spending with our kids, we're not able to be fully present and really dedicate all of our attention to them like we'd like because we're thinking about work. So it's that constant struggle, going back between like your work and kids and really just making sure that you are quote unquote enough in all these different aspects. And I recently heard if you're, 50% at work and 50% with your kids, that's still 100%. And we don't need to be 100% here and 100% there. And we really just can't pull ourselves in so many different directions and expect everything to be perfect. And we are in a different realm of life right now. And we are, looking to try to be in 2, 3, 4 possible places at once. And we have to realize we are just one person. And that's not possible all the time. And I get it. I see you and I see how this journey is expanding and evolving. And this is not the finished product. This is not, the package with a pretty little bow on top. This right here is the messy, real, honest middle. And maybe even it's just the beginning of, what we're building. And we still are just taking off and scratching the surface, maybe. So I thank you so much. And I appreciate you for cheering me on and supporting this podcast because your words are so meaningful and impactful. And I hope I can pass that down to others that are chasing their dream and doing the hard work, and the ones that are breaking away from the normal standards of society. And I know that they are being called for more. And if you feel it on your heart that you are made for more, I truly believe that you are. But it does require resilience and it does require you to be persistent. And it does mean that you will fail sometimes. It does mean that you will have to remember who you are and why you're chasing those dreams. I want my children to truly believe that they can be whatever they want to be. And I want to help them, but I have to help myself. I have to believe it for myself, or else I can't allow them to live out that truth. It's not over for us, mamas. Our dreams do not have to end when their little lives begin. We cannot give up on ourselves and expect them to see that it's possible for themselves to continue to have their dreams and do all the things that they want to do. So let's go. And here is to another 100 episodes, and here's to diving deeper into understanding what motherhood is all about. And here's to you. Good things take time. We have to be like the long distance runner, not just the sprinter. If this podcast is able to make just one connection for one other mama, if it can just show one other person who needs to see somebody else and hear their story and know that they have connected with them and that they never would have been able to make that connection or maybe even like be aware of them before, I feel like I've done my job. And when I create an episode, I am working on connecting mothers to mothers who have been there before, who have seen the struggle, who have done that before, who are in that situation. And I hope to amplify those connections and to allow you to see yourself in others and have others be there to help support each other along the way in this journey, because we are meant to connect. We are meant to have those connections. We are meant to build those moments, and we are able to share our stories. And when we do that, it creates the ability to really open up doors and help others feel less alone. You never know who may need to hear your story, so that they can really, embrace their own and climb out of whatever dark situation that they have, or to really emulate an amazing experience that they've been through. And every story has a purpose. And I really want to spread the message to others to have the courage to share your story. And remember, it's all about just making a little bit of progress. When we're creative and we may risk failure, it's not really about failing at all. It's our expectation that makes us consider it a failure. And when we really reevaluate that expectation, we can take a lot of the pressure of failing off of us. Just thinking back to when I was starting this podcast, I never knew what would come from it. And honestly, I still don't. All I know is that I want to share my story, and that is still slowly expanding and peeling back, and I'm getting deeper and opening up and feeling more comfortable in sharing everything that I've been through. I feel like it will help people that are in the same situation and in similar experiences that I have been in. And I want to encourage others to become curious and search for ways to make their motherhood journey look more like how they might have envisioned it or still envision it to be. And like I said, I'm still opening up. I'm still sharing more and more. And I feel like there is so much more that I want to get into and expand upon and really discover and uncover with this. And it has been so healing. And every single episode, I feel, has another message and another layer of something that I'm uncovering about myself and motherhood. And I hope that you can take it to really question different parts of your motherhood and your journey and build that image that you have for yourself, and that you feel more empowered and encouraged to have the strength to set boundaries and do the things that you want to do for your family. And I do believe we can ask for more. And I think it's important to chase our dreams. And I think it's an obligation not only to ourselves, but our children to continue to do this. And as each episode is created, I really do dive deeper into understanding why I feel such a calling to collect these stories and help. And I know that this is beyond just me, and I know that it's helping others connect with each other so that they can heal and navigate motherhood with a little bit more ease than they would have before. And I know, again, this is just the beginning. It's not the end. And we are just getting started. And I think that's a really amazing concept to think about. And I still feel so new to podcasting, even though I've been doing it for close to 2 years. And, maybe consistently getting weekly episodes out and posting or making content on social media every day, simply just works because you're getting more out there. And the more that's out there, the more reach that you potentially have. But, no one's telling rock stars and superstars that they need to post once a week. And look at how many likes they get from their followers. And, you know, even just from one post or opening up an account, all of a sudden they have a bunch of people getting to them. And it's because of who they are and what they've done over time, not necessarily how many posts they've had or how many things that they've created. It's the persistence that they've had. It's the evolution of who they've become that make people want to rally around them. And I get that that takes time to build. And, I also get that there's always another way. And I think when we're true to ourselves and we create really good, meaningful content that just sticks with our audience and it's always authentic, then it really helps expand that process. And I missed a couple of weeks of episodes, and sometimes it came out on a Thursday instead of a Monday. But I'm persistently working on creating this community and providing you with stories and insight that you never would have heard before if it wasn't for this exact podcast and the questions that I ask and the people that we are finding and bringing together. And I think that's pretty awesome to think about. You don't have to spend hours looking and finding these people and asking, how it was for them when they first entered motherhood or what motivated them to do what they're doing now, because it's all been compiled here for you to listen to. And we're able to tap into those conversations and select an episode and listen in like we're a fly on the wall and just take it all in and simply just listen. And you can listen to them over and over again and really just tap back into that conversation. And along this journey, I have really gone back and forth with myself in motherhood and the expansion of this podcast. And sometimes I just want to be a stay-at-home mom. And other times I'm super proud to work full time as an engineer. And some days I think about what it would be like to live the life of specific content creators or celebrities. And some days I just really enjoy the ease of simple everyday life. And other days I really want to dive back in and maybe go back to school for more things and get, more certifications and just expand my knowledge on everything. And I think sometimes I need to make products or sell something to physically hand you and give you, because that would be worth doing. And I've really settled on the fact that my voice is enough in this field and in this motherhood journey, because our words are so powerful, and the courage I have gained from having this podcast has been so rewarding. And the push to become curious about motherhood and learn all that I have learned so far is something that I'm going to continue to do. Because of just the single step that I've taken to start this podcast when I did, and the path that I've gone on, and even getting certified in postpartum nutritional coaching so that I could better understand not only what was happening in my own postpartum journey and learn ways to properly heal and feel my best after having children, but to then be able to share it with you and help you discover a holistic approach to being the moms that we all wish to be. I think that's a really awesome experience and something that I'm super motivated to do. And I also got certified as a VBAC doula when I was preparing for my own VBAC. And I'm now able to help other mamas who are searching for even just a chance to try for a vaginal birth after a cesarean. Because of this podcast, I have made deep, impactful connections with other mamas who are in their own individual journeys and have chosen to be someone who asks questions, who gets deeper, who wants to have those relationships and open up with other people. I've also made the decision to choose affiliates of multiple companies that I truly believe in, and have even started the process of obtaining sponsors for the show. And those are some huge steps. That's really awesome to see that evolution of the podcast and make those connections and have it be something that's organic and not just opportunities that I don't feel truly aligned with and would want to back up and believe in. These are things that have helped me, that I really like, that I want to be connected with and I want to show you and tell you about. So yes, I've proudly made affiliate connections with them, and I want to have those sponsors for the show because I want you to know about them and be able to use those resources if you feel like they will be able to help you too. And there are so many upcoming episodes that I'm just truly pumped to share with you, and so many ideas for what's to come next. And the activity that we did at the festival with sharing the mom confessions, I really want to start incorporating them into more episodes. And the intro will be changing and more solo episodes are going to be happening. And I really want to research and dive deep into some interesting topics that you have shared with me, saying that you want to know more about, that I really have been learning more about. And this podcast is for mamas who want to heal and discover new ways of how to navigate motherhood. It's for the mama who's curious and wants to be able to understand more of why we do the things that we do and the inner thoughts that go on in the minds of new mothers. It's a place to have conversations about maybe some of the taboo topics that moms want to talk about, but no one seems to be talking about. You don't know how many episodes I've had that people are like, oh, no one's talking about this. And I'm like, oh, we are right now doing this episode. I want to have those conversations. I want to give people the platform to have those conversations that they can come on and feel welcome and ready to share about the ins and outs of motherhood that maybe other people aren't sharing, whether it be, good or bad or whatever somebody else wants to interpret it as. We're talking about it. And, it's for mamas that are searching for that more holistic way of doing it all so that they can feel empowered and supported along every step of the way and have the resources and knowledge to be making decisions that are for them and that they want to have. And they'll feel good about why they want to do the things that they want to do. So please just remember to interact with us here and rate and review this podcast on whatever platform you're listening to it on, because that's how others are able to hear about it and find this podcast. Just, if you're on Apple, you can scroll all the way down on the main page and rate it right there. You click the little stars and you can write a review there too, and interact with us on Instagram, and feel free to message me whenever and let me know what you want to hear about or what you have suggestions about. And maybe you have guests that you think would be good on the show or topics for an episode. You can also send me an email at enteringmotherhood@gmail.com. And I'd really appreciate it if you would post a screenshot of this episode and share it in your stories or on your feed. We're celebrating 100 episodes, and I think that's a really big deal. And so tell your friends how much you get out of these episodes. Even if you've listened to a few or you've listened to all of them, there is such a range and such a selection for you to now be scrolling through and clicking on and listening to and having those resources and those tools to pull from and the insight of something that maybe you're trying to start or you want to learn more about. It's all there. And it's really about connecting and just enjoying this journey. And this is just as much your podcast as it is mine. And I have been enjoying every last minute of it. So, again, here is to episode 100 of the Entering Motherhood podcast. And I am so ready to continue to make more episodes and see where we're at episode 200. Well, this wraps up yet another episode of Entering Motherhood. I hope that you have found this episode helpful, and if you liked it, please share it with others who might also benefit from this information. If there's anything that you'd like to know more about, or maybe you know someone who'd like to be on the show, please visit my website, enteringmotherhood.com. I'm so thrilled to be going on this journey with you and getting the amazing opportunity to help moms during this postpartum experience. You can also now find us on Instagram and Facebook at Entering Motherhood.